very good evening to you. Welcome to News 360 live from our studio here at Adisanwe Kanda in Accra. I am Martin Asiedu-Date.
You're also live on our socials on 3news.com and TV3 Ghana. I am Bernice Abubeidu Lansa. The headlines in a moment.
News 360 headlines is brought to you by
Flamingo Paint,
Pepsodent Charcoal and Pepsodent Herbal, EcoBank.
Tonight, police arrest suspects over assassination of Queen Mother of Abamba near Amanting in Atebu, Manting District.
Also coming up, minority warns government against new taxes in mid-year budget amid government's claims of economic recovery and national reset.
Later in the bulletin, health professionals warn that late detection of kidney, bladder and prostate diseases continue to reduce success treatment outcomes.
And in business tonight, the Vice President pushes stronger local capital markets as government rules out immediate return to the international capital market.
Elsewhere around the world, UK scientists at Oxford University developing a new vaccine that could be used within months to help tackle the Ebola emergency. We have details of all these stories and more, including business, sports and entertainment. Do be a part of the show. Let's hear from you on the stories we have for you tonight.
And today we start off on a rather disturbing note. Months after the assassination of the Queen of Abamba shocked residents of the Atebubu Mountain district, police has arrested suspects linked to the fatal shooting. Investigators say sustained intelligence operations led officers to the hideout of the suspect accused of gunning down Nana Sewa Asama Kumajan at her residence in February. Stanley Nibleu has filed this report from Atebubu in the Bono East region.
February 25, 2026, the Queen of Abamba near Atebubu in the Atebubu Amantin district, Nana Sewa Asama Kumajan, was found in a pool of blood at a residence. The Queen Mother was later pronounced dead while the suspects fled. The incident heightened insecurity in the area. Police investigations established that the deceased Queen Mother opposed the alleged plans of a chief from Akokia to sell stool lands and install a chief of his choice in Atebubu, leading to the alleged orchestration of her assassination. However, luck ran out for the suspect. After months of intelligence-led operations, police tracked the suspects to different hideouts and arrested them. In all, 8 persons have been arrested in connection with the murder of the Abamba Queen Mother. Inspector General of Police Christian Tete Yohunu, together with members of the Police Management Board PUMAB, visited Atebubu to take custody of the suspect. Police say a chief from Akokia allegedly contracted the suspect to assassinate the Queen Mother for 50,000 cedis. Investigators say 40,000 cedis was paid after the killing was carried out. The IGP, Christian Tete Yohunu, provided further details on the arrest.
Following intensive interrogation, one of the suspects, Abdul Razak Ibrahim Langa, alias Zak, informed police that he knew about that murder case. He also indicated to police that the ghost of the Queen Mother had been tormenting him and as such wanted to confess everything. Upon further interrogation, suspect Nana Yao Bediako, alias Nana Yao, was identified as the person who shot the Queen Mother. He confessed to the crime and mentioned suspect Nana Ousu Sankofi II, also known in private life as Charles Kofi Ousu, the chief of Akokwa, as the one who contracted them to kill the Queen Mother.
Police say the main suspect confessed that the ghost of the slain Queen Mother had been tormenting him following his arrest in Kaswa. Police also say the chief from Akokia allegedly attempted to bribe officers with 200,000 cedis and paid 100,000 cedis upfront. The money has been retrieved and kept as evidence. The body of the slain Queen Mother is yet to be interred. Meanwhile, police in Atebubu have also made a breakthrough in another investigation involving 6 armed robbery suspects. The suspect allegedly opened fire during a robbery attack at a GB fuel station, leading to the deaths of 2 bystanders. Police say 3 suspects are currently in custody, while 3 others died from gunshot wounds after allegedly attempting to escape arrest. The Bono East Regional Police Commander, DCOP Shaibu Abubakar Sadiq Osei, elaborated further.
The team also arrested 2 female suspects, Abibatu Sambu and Umaru Amama, who are the wives of suspect Nuhu Audu, after they were named as the ones who kept the group's weapons after every robbery. He named suspect Nuhu Audu as the leader of the gang and Alhaji Gawo as the overall boss, who is the owner of the weapons used by the gang in the robberies, as well as the financier of various gangs in the area.
The suspects are being transported to Accra for further investigations and prosecution.
Let's go to Parliament now, and the Minority Caucus has warned that the government against introducing new taxes in the upcoming mid-year budget review. The minority insists that despite promises of economic recovery and a national reset, many Ghanaians are yet to feel any real improvement in their daily lives. Noble Crosby Annan reports.
The Minority Caucus in Parliament says despite the government promises of a national reset, many Ghanaians are yet to experience meaningful improvement in their daily lives. The caucus points to NHI's arrears, delays in school feeding grants, shortages of teaching materials, amongst others.
Despite the NDC's promises of a national reset, basic service deliveries remains largely unchanged.
The minority also raised concerns over rising youth unemployment, warning that the situation could become a national security threat if urgent action is not taken. Meanwhile, the caucus says it will strongly oppose any new taxes in the upcoming mid-year budget review.
Ghanaian families are yet to feel tangible relief in their daily lives. Where are the jobs? 2026 mid-year budget review. Should the government miss targets or seek to introduce new taxes, the minority will fiercely contest it.
Responding to the minority's criticism over taxes, Majority Leader Mahama Yaraga insisted the government has fulfilled its promise to abolish several taxes introduced under the previous administration.
As for taxes, I'm sure you know that this government has abolished all the taxes that we promised to abolish when we come into office. So our record there is not in doubt.
He acknowledged that youth unemployment remains a major challenge, but argued the situation is largely the result of accumulated economic difficulties inherited from the previous government.
I do agree with you that a lot of work needs to be done in the area of creating employment. Many of those who are unemployed have left school for more than 8 years. So what you see today is not a creation of the last 1.5 years. But we have taken over the reins of government, and it is our responsibility to make sure that we fix the economy so that the economy will employ these young people.
On the delay in the passage of the anti-LGBTQ bill after it was brought up by the minority, the Majority Leader explained that the delay in considering the legislation is linked to plans to introduce a community service bill.
The anti-LGBTQ bill, despite strong bipartisan public support and the NDC's own campaign commitments, was not brought to a final vote in 2025. The minority finds this delay deeply troubling.
We are prioritizing the community service bill so that immediately it is passed, then there's a basis for some amendments in the Family Values Bill to include community service as part of the penalties.
to some more stories now on News 360. Now, residents in the Savannah region are scrutinizing contractors working under the Big Push agenda. They are demanding nothing short of quality roads that meet timelines. As President Mahama commences his Reset in Ghana tour of the region, a key feature of his inspection includes monitoring the progress of work on government projects in his home region. Kamla Kluche has the following report.
President John Mahama returned to his home region, Savannah, for the first time after several months. His Reset in Ghana tour offers an opportunity for him to bring the administration of state to the doorstep of the 16 regions.
Thank you. I'm happy to see you. How are you?
The first port of call was Sola, where he launched the basic science and technology and mathematics for the community schools.
Tomatoes. We've seen that when we put the little small paper inside the tomato, it turns to red. Then we kept the red inside. It didn't change. And 2 wires, which the red is positive and the black is negative.
Impressed with the display of engineering skills by the school children, the president took a dig at the previous administration's handling of STEM education.
In the past, some government's idea of STEM was to build standalone STEM institutions. And so they built some STEM senior high schools. But the problem with those standalone STEM schools is that it gives access only to a village few. Our idea is to democratize STEM and decentralize it so that every child can have the opportunity to learn science, technology, engineering, and mathematics.
Moments thereafter, he inspected and cut sod for the College of Education in Bole. The president then moved to cut sod for the 24-hour economy market in Bole that will have all amenities of modern markets. The Savannah region has one of the poorest roads in the country. The construction of the N12 remains a priority for the government under the Big Push agenda that is spearheading construction across the country in some 2,000 road projects.
Na kwa omo fa so omo ye adwuma no anigye kese pa na aba obi ani age wo kwa no kese nkora ne mpanyimfo nyina na ye kwa we ne na nye omo ba so no omo aye ne kama pa bole bamboy
ne ebi susu ye adwuma no so a omo nya ne ntentem uduru bebi a wa ye slow watime relax se wonya adwuma bia nso awose wo so ye adwuma wo bebi no na nipa no ye kra ye ba ne hu se agodata wo ye adwuma ba ebi wo ho bebre wo beduru ko bi so no omo nya hwe no relax no ye ne dan a wo ba bedam wo ba kura na ba ye dan
so ye gatas ne dey wo problem because gatas no musu so o man bai mu kura mpointi no gatas ne ma ye problem nya sa de kwan ne de ne ya na wo ye no.
There is a second phase that we are scoping, and it will be announced by the Minister of Finance when he presents the budget in November this year to Parliament. And I can assure Konra, Kalbaura, and my fathers that your roads are contained in the Big Push project for next year. So you hear it will be announced in the budget in November, and early next year we'll have the contractors on the ground working on the roads.
Kamla Kluche, TV3 News, Tinga, Savannah region.
Let's come back to the Greater Accra region, where after months of public criticism and growing concerns over transportation difficulties across the country's major cities, government has finally commissioned 100 newly imported Metro Mass transit buses for public use. The buses, which arrived in the country several months ago, had remained parked, raising questions from commuters. The Vice President, Professor Nana Jane Opoku-Agyeman, has officially commissioned the fleet, describing it as a major step towards improving urban mobility and reducing commuter hardship.
For weeks, questions had dominated public discourse as to why the 100 Metro Mass buses that were procured were still parked, while passengers struggled daily during rush hours to access public transport. In cities such as Accra, Kumasi, Takoradi and Tamale, the transport burden has become a daily reality for thousands of workers and students. At a ceremony on Friday, May 22, the Vice President, Professor Nana Jane Opoku-Agyeman, officially commissioned the 100 buses into service.
We expect future procurements to increase local content and create more opportunities for Ghanaian technicians and engineers and for local manufacturing and assembly.
She said the buses will be deployed to support night transport operations, particularly for shift workers and late-night economic activities, with routes expected to be determined based on demand and commuter feedback. Managing Director of Metro Mass Transit, Cesar Kale, says the new fleet will promote 24-hour transport services and support free transportation initiatives for elderly citizens. The Transport Minister, Joseph Bukari Nikwe, challenged Metro Mass Transit to improve its internal operations and financial sustainability.
We would not like a situation where you are given 100 buses and you yourself cannot work internally to bring in more 100 or 200.
Transport analysts, however, say the commissioning alone will not solve the transport challenges unless maintenance culture and operational efficiency are prioritized, which was echoed by the Vice President.
Please maintain these buses well. Eliminate waste and leakages. The public deserves our respect. Please serve the public with courtesy and efficiency.
Deployment of the first 100 buses is expected to pave the way for the delivery of the remaining 200 buses under the broader fleet expansion program. As these buses begin rolling onto the roads, expectations will be high that this intervention delivers not just visibility but real impact. Evelyn Tinkma, TV3 News, Accra.
Now, about 72 hours. That's how much longer the leadership of the opposition New Patriotic Party will have to wait before submitting their petition against the Circuit Court 9 judge. This was after their planned effort to report His Honor Joseph Yenuban Kunsong was delayed due to the absence of the Chief Justice Paul Bafaboni. Elizabeth Enyonam Haliga was at the Supreme Court and reports.
The leadership of the main opposition New Patriotic Party gathered in their numbers to demand action from the Chief Justice over what they describe as glaring bias in the administration of justice by a circuit court judge against their party members. Non-members of the party, Abronye DC and Baba Mandu, were arraigned before His Honor Joseph Yenuban Kunsong on charges of publication of false news and conduct likely to breach the peace, misdemeanors that attracted remand into custody. According to the party, those separate decisions constitute grounds for bias, hence their demand for a reprimand of the judge.
He should step aside from the case because he has shown his bias. However, granted, we even want him out. What will be wrong? They set the precedence. They removed a Supreme Court judge. So if we call for that, it's fair. We are not running away from the cameras to accept accountability. This is not what we are doing. What we are doing is a simple task. If you criticized me, let me criticize you.
The failure of the government shows everything today. It tells you that the government hasn't got anything to offer. All they do is to arrest people. There's a young girl that was arrested, 26-year-old girl. What is the grievous crime that has been committed? I mean, what can she do? Can she kill anybody? I don't think she can even kill a fly. But look at how she's been treated.
But after over an hour of waiting, the party leadership was told they would have to return to the Supreme Court on Monday to officially register their protest. The party says free speech is under attack under the current administration, a position strongly challenged by the Attorney General, Dr. Dominic Ayene. In a related development, the Media Foundation for West Africa says more people have been arrested over speech-related offences during the almost 1.5 years of the Mahama administration than under the previous administration. In a release detailing what it describes as a sharp increase in public arrests targeting dissent, the Media Foundation for West Africa cited up to 14 such arrests by the police using Section 76 of the Electronic Communications Act and Section 207 and 208 of the Criminal Offences Act.
Let's turn our attention to health now. And late detection of kidney, bladder and prostate diseases continue to be a major health concern in Ghana. Many patients only report to health facilities when the conditions are already in advanced stages, making treatment more challenging. Health experts are therefore urging the public to take early symptoms seriously and make greater use of medical imaging for timely diagnosis and improved chances of recovery.
Kidney diseases are increasingly becoming a major health concern in Ghana, with health experts warning of a steady rise in cases across the country. Medical professionals say part of this trend is linked to environmental pollution, including the contamination of water bodies from illegal mining activities, commonly known as galamsey, which exposes communities to harmful substances that can damage kidney function over time. Nephrologist and kidney expert Dr. Charlotte Osafo at the 14th annual meeting of the Ghana Association of Radiologists spoke on the growing concern.
In the early stages, it is asymptomatic. So, there are no symptoms whatsoever. If you begin to see symptoms, then it is advanced. And some of the symptoms that you can see will be, it starts with tiredness, sometimes swelling around your legs, around your eyes. You see itching, you start itching, sometimes nausea. You want to, anything you take in, you vomit, you get all swollen up, you become very pale. All these are signs or symptoms that show that the disease is advanced.
She urged the public to regularly go for health checks to support early detection and timely treatment.
If you go to the hospital and the doctor says that, okay, we've done your blood test, we've seen that you've got kidney disease, go and do ultrasound for me. Don't say that it's expensive, I can't do it, because with that, it helps us, to tell whether it is something that can be salvaged or it has reached a point where nothing can be done. So it's not only about chronic kidney disease, but other, diseases that affect the genitourinary system.
The head of radiology department at the police hospital, ACP Francis Ofer, also touched on how imaging services play a vital role in the early diagnosis of kidney diseases.
MRI, CT, they are all diagnostic imaging modalities. But then ultrasound is the most common and available. It is not all institutions that have the high-end imaging modalities. So we try to begin low and then you go up. We're urging government and all stakeholders that for this multidisciplinary approach to be successful, we need to retool our facilities across the length and breadth of the country with imaging modalities like CT scan, MRI, etc., etc.
As radiologists and other health practitioners from different disciplines continue to work together, there is a growing emphasis on strengthening early detection and improving the management of kidney and other genitourinary tract diseases.
Away from health, for the first time, Ghana will host the African Internet Governance Forum. The 15th edition is set to open in Accra on November 2, 2026. Now, with Africa's internet use still below 40%, Communications Minister Samuel Nati George says this forum comes at a critical time.
Well, the digital space is changing fast. More than 5.8 billion people are now online, but the gap remains wide, especially in Africa. Internet use on the continent stood at about 38% in 2024, while millions still remain excluded from meaningful digital access. For Africa, the issue is no longer just about using technology, but about having a voice in the rules, safeguards and opportunities that shape the digital future. It is against this backdrop that Ghana is preparing to host the 15th African Internet Governance Forum.
Ghana proudly hosts this important continental forum here in Accra from the 2nd to the 5th of November 2026. under the theme Advancing Africa's Digital Future Through Innovation, Inclusion, and Trust. Across Africa, digital technologies are reshaping economies, governance, education, trade, and daily life. Artificial intelligence, digital infrastructure, cybersecurity, data governance, and platform regulation are no longer peripheral concerns. They are central to Africa's development, competitiveness, and digital sovereignty.
Speaking at the launch of the program's organizing board, Minister for Communications, Digital Technology and Innovations, Samuel Nate George, said Ghana's hosting of the forum positions the country as a beacon of digital governance in Africa.
Ghana looks forward to welcoming Africa, a global digital community, to Accra in November 2026, where we'll put on our proverbial Ghanaian hospitality. Together, let us build an Africa where digital transformation advances innovation, opportunity, resilience, inclusion, and trust for all.
He says, as artificial intelligence, cybersecurity, and digital rights reshape the world, Ghana's role as host gives Africa a stronger platform to influence the rules and opportunities of the digital future.
And residents of Vineyard near Malam and parts of La Paz are counting their losses after a little over an hour of heavy rain triggered flash floods in the area. Several homes were submerged as floodwaters swept through the community, forcing residents to rush to save their belongings and move to safety. Roads became difficult to access as gutters overflowed and water levels rose rapidly, leaving some vehicles stranded. Some residents blamed poor drainage and choked gutters for worsening the flooding situation, calling on city authorities to urgently desilt drains ahead of the peak rainy season. No casualties were recorded or are officially noted, but residents fear more flooding if the rains continue in the coming days. Now, authorities are yet to assess the full extent of the damage caused by today's floods. And I mean, a number of you, I'm sure, either now getting home or still on your way. Those of you watching us on social media, on your phones, today's rains were quite heavy. It was in many parts of the capital, and we are just praying that we do not record any casualties. However, going forward, we need to start preparing for moments like this. So watching News 360, we're taking a quick break. We'll be back with business, sports, and entertainment. Stay with us.
Thank you.
financial institutions, stronger foreign exchange systems, and credible market reforms capable of attracting long-term investment. Professor J. Nana Opoku-Agyeman noted that rising debt burdens and geopolitical tensions continue to reshape investment flows and financing conditions for emerging economies.
Ghana holds this Congress at a time when our own financial markets are evolving. We recognize the need to deepen domestic capital markets, strengthen the foreign exchange market, improve market transparency, support long-term investment, and build markets that meet the needs of both users and investors.
She also stressed the importance of expanding local currency financing and improving transparency within Ghana's financial markets.
Elevating markets by strengthening trust. Innovation and competitiveness will rest on transparency and respect for the rules.
Governor of the Bank of Ghana, Dr. Johnson Esiama, made the case for the strengthening of interoperability across Africa.
You know about a lot of efforts that have gone on to promote trade across the sub-region. What is lagging behind is the payments and settlements, aspects. Someone says it is cheaper, for example, to send money across the oceans than it is to send money to another countries within the sub-region.
Meanwhile, Deputy Minister of Finance Thomas Nyakwampim has reiterated government's commitment to macroeconomic stability after the successful completion of the IMF Extended Credit Facility Program.
Last 17 months, Ghana has undertaken one of the most significant macroeconomic adjustment and recovery programs in its recent history. Supported by the IMF and anchored on difficult but necessary reforms, government has focused on restoring macroeconomic stability, rebuilding investor confidence, strengthening public finances, and protecting the foundations of long-term growth. These reforms were to stabilize the economy, restore credibility, strengthen market confidence, and reposition Ghana within an increasingly competitive global economic environment.
We'll end the segment with updates from the forex and commodities markets. I am Minu Afo.
The Sports News segment is brought to you by Sasso Insecticide Spray and Quad.
Hello, good evening and welcome to the sports segment here on News360. My name is Bill Ishen. Now, the battle for survival in the Ghana Premier League has reached its concluding point, with Nations FC, Swedru All Blacks and Young Apostles vying to stay at the top flight competition for one more season. My colleague Mutala Yakubu takes a closer look at the fight for survival ahead of the final game week.
It's the final lap of the Ghana Premier League this weekend. We know that the title has already been wrapped up by Mediema, but we do not know which team would be joining Ho United and 11 Wonders to be relegated. As it stands, 3 teams are in danger: Swedru All Blacks, Young Apostles, and Nations FC. Now here is the dynamics. Swedru All Blacks are playing their final game against Asante Kotoko, which is a must-win game for them at the Baba Sports Stadium. Should they fail to win, and Young Apostles and Nations FC win their games, it means that Swedru All Blacks will be going back to Division 1 after struggling to qualify into the Premier League, where they spent 16 years, and they will be going back so soon. For Nations FC, it's a must-win game for them against Karela in Tamale, because if they fail to win and All Blacks get a draw even against Asante Kotoko, All Blacks will be staying in the league and Nations FC will be relegated. Not much is being said about Young Apostles, who also need a win themselves, but they are playing home against Samatex and usually at the Winchi get the win. So it's more or less between All Blacks and Nations FC. It's must-win games for them this weekend. Nations must defeat Karela in Tamale, and All Blacks must find a way to defeat Asante Kotoko also at the Baba Sports Stadium. But should both games end in a draw, because All Blacks currently have 42 points and Nations have 41 points, it means that Nations will go down. So for Nations FC, no option for them than to win and hope Kotoko will do them a favor against All Blacks.
Now, Desmond Ofair will lead the Black Stars in Friday's international friendly against Mexico in Puebla. The friendly against Mexico forms part of the Black Stars build-up to the 2026 FIFA World Cup. Ghana have been drawn into a challenging group featuring Panama, England, and Croatia for the tournament. The friendly will help their technical team finalize a 26-month squad for the global tournament scheduled to kick off on June 11. An official statement from the Ghana Football Association has explained that the assistant coach is leading the national team into friendly following head coach Carlos Queiroz's absence due to personal reasons. Now, Desmond Ofair has overseen the Black Stars preparations since the team arrived in Mexico and will now step into the lead role for the highly anticipated encounter. Now to our final story. For more than 10 years, QNet, an international wellness and lifestyle company, has been the official direct selling partner and one of the official sponsors of Manchester City in the English Premier League. Now, they've put together a 5-day training clinic for young players in Accra. The following report from the second day has more details.
QNet's unique corporate social responsibility project, 25 promising young male and female Ghanaian footballers aged 8 to 11 participated in the QNet and Manchester City Football Clinic on Friday. Under the guidance of world-class coaching staff from Manchester City, the clinic is expected to run until the 24th of May, allowing young players to receive professional and world-class coaching and mentorship. Excited by the application on show by the young players, Senior Manager of Programs at Manchester City in the United Kingdom, Christian Mahon, outlined the goal of the clinic.
The main goal of the clinic is to provide opportunities for players to understand how we do things at Manchester City, really connect with players here in Ghana and really give them a broader understanding of what beautiful football is and hopefully develop the game. The sessions have been going really well so far and we're really happy to be working with the players.
Meanwhile, Deputy Regional General Manager of the Sub-Saharan QNet African region, Sharif Basiru Abdullah Issa, emphasized the importance of the clinic.
Yeah, it's an amazing opportunity that is part of our relationship, our long collaboration with Man City, and it's also part of our commitment to give more opportunity to the youth in Africa. The main goal for us is really to give back to the community and more specifically to the youth, because we are really interested in growing these youth and helping them, equipping them with all the tools to become leaders and also to help them achieve their dreams.
As Manchester City continue to dominate in the Premier League, the foundation is being laid for the next generation.
That's it for the sports segment here on News 360. My name is Bill Ishen. Over to you, Martin.
Thank you very much, Bill. Now, a new trend of people ripping off the cover of their mattresses to see what it actually was made of is emerging after the Ghana Standards Authority shut down 4 mattress manufacturing companies for using medically unapproved materials. While the trend continues, many are unaware of the health risks associated with the use of these mattresses. Benis Abubedu Lansa has more.
Of 4 mattress manufacturing companies at Afienya has led to a trend.
Robbery video. 4, 5, 6.
But beyond the laughter and discoveries made by these consumers lies a matter of serious health concern. Some may argue that people sleep on bare floors or mats, and so, aside from the fact that they've been quote-unquote scammed into buying these products when they thought they were purchasing standard mattresses, there really is nothing to worry about. Here's why they are wrong. The Ghana Standards Authority, GSA, says the unapproved chemical mixtures used in these mattresses failed all standard quality and safety tests. They are produced from polystyrene and unapproved polyethylene derivatives instead of the legally and medically approved foam-based polyurethane. A 1991 study in the New England Journal of Medicine identified that polystyrene-filled cushions and mattresses could lead to airway obstruction and carbon dioxide rebreathing, posing a fatal suffocation risk for infants. This is because when body tissues are deprived of adequate oxygen to function properly, sudden and unexplained death can occur. For adults, experts warn that sleeping on these mattresses can cause severe respiratory distress. That's a life-threatening emergency, spinal degradation due to inadequate orthopedic support, and skin allergies. So before you sleep on your mattress again, you may want to ensure it's providing the rest and relaxation you need and not putting your health at risk. Benis Abubedu Lansa, TV3 News, Accra.
Right, stay with us. We have the latest in the world of international news after this break. Stay with us.
In my line of work, a confident smile is everything. Kale Charcoal Toothpaste keeps me on top of my game.
He smoked marijuana on stage, but he was detained and later released, with Romanian authorities formally indicting him on drug-related charges in October 2024. Despite the controversy, Wiz Khalifa said he meant no disrespect to Romania and praised authorities for treating him respectfully. And now to some more stories. Oscar-winning actress Lupita Nyong'o has defended her casting as Helen of Troy in The Odyssey, saying critics should remember the film is based on mythology. The actress said she supports director Christopher Nolan and his vision for the upcoming adaptation of Homer's ancient Greek epic. Now, speaking to Elle magazine, Nyong'o described the production as grand and said its cast reflects the modern world. She added that she was not focused on defending herself against criticism, saying backlash would continue whether she responded to it or not. Her casting has sparked debate online, with billionaire Elon Musk among those criticizing the decision to cast a black actress as Helen of Troy. Musk argued that changing the race of a character from a foundational work of European literature was inappropriate and later accused Nolan of insulting Greek culture. The director has not publicly addressed the controversy. The Odyssey is one of Nolan's most anticipated projects following the success of Oppenheimer, which won multiple Oscars in 2024.
Promise me you will come back.
What if I can't?
Well, that's it for the Entertainment News segment here on News 360. My name is Noella Donko.
Let's now bring you some stories from other parts of the world. And scientists at the Oxford University are developing a new vaccine that could be used within months to help tackle the current Ebola emergency. The outbreak, centered on the Democratic Republic of Congo, has resulted in 750 suspected cases and 177 deaths so far. The rare species of Ebola, known as Bundibugyo, for which there is no proven vaccine, kills around a third of those infected. There are no guarantees the vaccine will prove effective, and it will take animal research and trials on people to know if it will be successful. But scientists say they are working urgently in case the outbreak spirals and the experimental vaccine is needed. The risk from the current Ebola outbreak has now been upgraded from high to very high in the Democratic Republic of Congo by the World Health Organization. In the wider region, the risk is also now considered to be high, but it remains low internationally. This comes after the WHO declared a public health emergency of international concern on Sunday when it stressed the outbreak was not a pandemic.
And let's go to the United States of America now. And Tulsi Gabbard has said that she is resigning from her position as the U.S. Director of International Intelligence in the Trump administration, citing her husband's recent bone cancer diagnosis. President Donald Trump said in a social media post that Gabbard has done an incredible job and we will miss her. That's a direct quote. In her letter, Gabbard said her husband, Abraham, faces major challenges in the coming weeks and months. Her resignation is effective the 30th of June. Aaron Lucas, the principal deputy director, will step in as acting director, Donald Trump indicated. Gabbard, a loyal supporter of Donald Trump during his 2024 presidential campaign, was confirmed as one of the most powerful figures in U.S. intelligence gathering weeks after he returned to the White House in 2025. So it's a pleasure sharing company with you. Thank you so much for watching News 360. My name is Martin Asiedu-Date.
And you can stand by for more updates as well from our socials. We are 3news.com and TV3 Ghana. Thanks for your company once again. I'm Bernice Abubedu Lansa. Have a good night.